What does moderate mean? Today I'm taking you to one of the most famous hikes in Glendalough National Park, the White Route to the Spinc Boardwalk. Caution ahead. If you've been researching this trail online, you've probably read that it's considered a quote-unquote moderate hike. For me, it wasn't moderate. The walk begins beautifully with a nice, slow incline, climbing directly through the forest to the Poulanas waterfall before opening up to spectacular views overlooking the upper lake and the monastic valley below. In fact, if you hike to the first overlook, you've already experienced one of the most breathtaking views in Glendalough. For many visitors, that might be the perfect place to turn around and head back down. That's what I wish I would have done. That's where my experience changed. After the overlook, the trail eventually climbs onto what Ireland calls the Spinc Boardwalk. As an American, when I hear the word boardwalk, I picture wide, flat wooden planks like the boardwalk in Disney. Instead, this is a narrow walkway constructed from metal-studded timber sleepers or railroad ties stretching across the mountainside. If you're comfortable with heights, you may absolutely love it. However, the railroad ties are covered in metal, which makes them slippery. I watched teenagers run parts of the trail, and several hikers completed it wearing ordinary Adidas trainers. I do not recommend that. I bet their feet and ankles were killing them later. For me, with a significant fear of heights, it becomes one of the most challenging experiences of my trip. At one point, I experienced a full panic attack and had to step off of the railroad ties, curl into a little ball in the muck, and concentrate on my breathing before continuing, literally crying and blowing snot into my handkerchief I was glad that I brought. That doesn't make it a bad trail. It simply means it wasn't the right fit for my nervous system, as I was not expecting to climb to 1,600 feet. One thing I wish I'd known beforehand is the highest point, 1,650 feet above sea level, and once you're committed to the loop, turning back isn't an option. Bring a cloth with you that you can dip in the river before going up the mountain or pour cold water onto while you're hiking. I would not recommend the full Spinc Loop if you have a fear of heights, if you struggle with panic attacks, have balance concerns, or are looking for more of a moderate walk through nature. Instead, hike to the first overlook above the waterfall, enjoy one of the best views in Glendalough, and then turn back down and walk back past the waterfall. You'll experience all the beauty without committing to the full 4-hour circuit. If you do choose the complete loop, bring some snacks. Wear proper laced up ankle support hiking boots, especially for the giant boulders you have to climb down. Bring plenty of water. I recommend putting ice in your water. And remember that moderate is not moderate for everyone. Despite everything, I did finish the hike, and I've been resting my legs for 2 days. In fact, I've affectionately renamed it the Glendalough Sphincter Circle. I don't regret doing it, but I probably will not do it again. As a matter of fact, I know I'll never do it again. I'm Troy Cox, exploring Ireland through the lens of the Safe Spaces Project. Thank you for liking, watching, and sharing my videos. Stay safe.